In the days leading up to my dad's 60th birthday, I got a notification, $8,500 charged to my account. Venue, catering, cleared, one charge, my card. I stared at it in the parking lot outside my office, holding a lukewarm coffee like it might anchor me. It didn't. No one told me. No one asked. No one even pretended to include me. I called my mom. She answered like it was nothing. "Oh, that," she said, using that soft, practiced voice she pulls out when she's hiding something. "It was just easier this way. You don't have kids. This is how you show you care." I said nothing. "It's for your father," she added, like that was supposed to make it okay. In the background, I heard my uncle's quiet laugh. And there it was, that weight in my chest, the same one I carried at the last family event, and the one before that. That same voice in my head, "They don't want you here, they just want what you can give." I didn't argue, I didn't ask why they used my card, I'd done that before, it never mattered. I just took a breath and said, "Then I hope he likes empty plates." Silence. Maybe she thought I was joking. Maybe she thought I'd let it go like I always did. I didn't. That night, I cancelled everything. Venue, catering, A/V setup. Not in anger, just surgical, step by step. By morning, I turned off notifications. I didn't want to watch it unfold. But at 6:12 p.m., one message slipped through. "Why would you do this?" No greeting, no context, just that. Like the theft wasn't the problem, the boundary was. I didn't answer. I just sent a screenshot, the charge, the cancellations, transaction reversed. Then I put my phone face down and made dinner. I didn't sleep that night. Not from anger, that passed somewhere between the phone call and the last refund. I couldn't sleep because my brain wouldn't stop working. Not spiraling. Calculating. I started pulling receipts, emotional ones. Because this wasn't a mistake, it was a pattern. I pay, they laugh. I give, they expect more. I show up, they move the chairs. Every time. Mom's birthday? I flew in, paid $1,200 for catering, sat at the kids' table. Sister's wedding? I wasn't invited to speak, but I paid 5 vendors. Brother's baby shower? I bought the decorations. I wasn't even invited. Grandma's memorial? I covered the flowers. My name wasn't on the card. Over and over. I wasn't family. I was funding. It hit me harder than the money ever could. Money comes back, identity doesn't. They didn't see me, they saw what I could give. I closed my notebook and made a decision. Quiet, final. Not rage, math. I wasn't a guest at their table, I was the legs holding it up. If they couldn't see me, they'd feel me when I stepped away. I started with the venue. The manager was friendly, until I cancelled. Then the caterer, she hesitated, "But your mom said, she's not on the card." I cut in. Florist? Cancelled. Band? Cancelled. Every booking tied to my name, gone. 3 quiet, deliberate hours. Not revenge, just removal. They didn't forget to ask. They didn't forget to include me. They never wanted me there, just my card. And this time? They got neither. I didn't call anyone in my family. Didn't explain. I didn't owe them that. They took what wasn't offered. I simply reclaimed it. Next came the technicals, streaming services, shared calendars. The family Dropbox where they stored party logistics, photos, spreadsheets. I locked them out. Revoked access, disabled uploads. Changed every password on every platform I controlled. Not out of spite. Out of clarity. I opened my banking app and flagged the $8,500 charge. Not fraudulent, authorized, but unauthorized in spirit. I requested a reversal on the grounds of family misuse. The rep was calm. "You'd be surprised how often this happens," she said. I wasn't. By 6 p.m., every vendor had confirmed cancellation. I archived their emails, filed every receipt, labeled each folder. I wasn't building a case. But I wanted to be ready. At 6:42 p.m., my mom's text started. "What is going on? You cancelled everything. People are showing up and there's nothing here. Why would you do this?" I didn't reply, not yet. Instead, I took screenshots. Then scrolled back to the charge confirmation, $8,500, posted, cleared, my name. I screenshotted that too. At 7:03 p.m., I sent one image. No caption. No explanation. Just the bank transaction. Then I put the phone down. That night, I ate leftovers on my couch. No TV, just the city lights blinking quietly against the dark. My phone buzzed. Voicemails stacked up. Uncle. Dad. Cousin. I let them all go to voicemail. They were happy to spend my money in silence. Now they could sit in silence without it. At 9:14 p.m., my sister texted, "You're being unreasonable." I smiled. Not out of triumph, out of clarity. This was never about money. It was about consent. About never being asked. About being expected to bankroll a celebration I wasn't welcome in. Because that's what it was, wasn't it? A statement party. Look how loved we are. Look how big we celebrate. But I'd seen the guest list. Seen my name scribbled in the margins. Seen the table assignments, family, and then me, in overflow. They wanted the champagne, the flowers, the music, they just didn't want me sitting next to it. So I let them keep their plans, just not the funding. Later, I heard people showed up to a locked venue. My uncle tried rerouting guests to a diner. My mom cried in the car, yelling into vendor voicemails. My dad, silent in the driver's seat. No one offered to cover costs. No one even knew I'd paid. That was the point. I wasn't part of the celebration. I was the infrastructure. And when the music stopped, they noticed. Not because I made noise, but because their echo chamber collapsed. They didn't call the next morning. That would have required coherence. Instead, the first message came at 3:27 a.m. My mom again. People were humiliated last night. How could you do this to your father? No punctuation, just guilt, raw and weaponized. By 6 a.m., 7 more came. We had friends there. This was supposed to be a family moment. You embarrassed us. You could have talked to us like an adult. This is not how families behave. You've always had issues. You need help. I didn't respond. Not out of avoidance, out of principle. I knew this pattern. Violate. Gaslight. Blame the reaction. Rewrite the narrative. At 8:42 a.m., my dad finally spoke. I can't believe you sabotaged your own family's reputation. For what? Attention? No mention of the money. No acknowledgement that it was my card, my name, my funds. Just the usual script. How dare you disrupt the image? Then my uncle called. I didn't pick up. He left a voicemail. You humiliated us in front of everyone. You couldn't just be normal for once. You always make everything about you. I played it twice. Not because it hurt, but because it was stunning how sincerely they believed it. By noon, the family group chat exploded. Cousins, aunts, even my dad's old business partner weighed in. Accusations flew. He overreacted. Selfish. Mental breakdown. What happened to Mason? He used to be the good one. That word, good, it stung. Because I knew what they meant. Good meant silent. Good meant generous without limits. Good meant useful, but never central, never seen, never loved. Only funded. By 3 p.m., my phone was full. Calls, messages, voicemails that started in shaky voices and ended in rage. One message read, "We never knew how much this affected you, we just didn't want to say it." And there it was. They weren't seeking repair. They were trying to control the narrative. If I was unstable, they didn't have to address the theft. If I was dramatic, they could dismiss the boundary. If I was selfish, they could stay the victims. At 5:30 p.m., my sister messaged. I hope it was worth it. You completely tore this family apart. She hadn't texted once during the planning. Not when the charge hit. Not when I cancelled. Only now, when the mask slipped. At 7:02 p.m., my mom called. I ignored it. She called again, and again. I blocked the number. Then came the email. Subject, let's fix this. Body, we were under pressure. It's your father's 60th. We just wanted it perfect. You could have talked to us. This is cruel. You've always been sensitive. We didn't think you'd blow it up like this. You've made things very difficult. Please come home. Not an apology. A performance. A guilt trap with a closing line. At 10:43 p.m., I replied. No. Just that. Anything more would invite argument. I wasn't negotiating my right to say no. That night, one last move. A voicemail from my mother, crying, half praying, voice cracking. We didn't mean it. We were tired. Your father's devastated. People are talking. I told them you're just going through something. That this isn't who you are. That you'll come around. I saved it. For the archive. Because the message was clear. They thought this was a phase. That I'd fold. That I'd return to good. But I wasn't folding. And they weren't losing a son. They were losing their infrastructure. And that terrified them. I never meant to go public. Truly, I didn't. Even after reversing the $8,500 they charged without my consent. Even after my mother said I'd embarrassed the family. Even after my uncle called me unstable. I still planned to let it die quietly. Private boundaries. Cancelled plans. Blocked numbers. Move on. But then, they called my job. First, a soft inquiry to my manager. Is he okay? Should we be worried? The tone, concerned, professional, polished, barely veiled the threat. Then came the emails. To clients I'd worked with for years. One of your vendors may be experiencing personal instability. You may want to confirm delivery timelines. Concern, disguised as sabotage. That's when I knew. This wasn't about repair. This was erasure. So I opened the folder I never meant to use. Boundaries_June 2025, a vault of receipts, documentation, and silence held tight. Screenshot of the $8,500 charge. Vendor confirmations of cancellations and refunds. Text messages from my family, accusations, guilt trips, rewritten history. Voicemails dressed as sympathy. One from my father, you're tearing this family apart. An email thread from my mother, we're all under pressure. It wasn't personal, let's fix this. And at the bottom, a 100-sentence summary I'd written just to process it. Never meant to share, until now. I didn't rant. Didn't name names. No profanity, no dramatics. I posted. 4 days before my father's 60th birthday, $8,500 was charged to my account without my knowledge or consent. I reversed it, cancelled the venue, the catering, the band. I became the villain for ruining the party. But this is what human boundaries look like, not noise, clarity. Attached were blurred screenshots, the charge, the cancellation, the messages, the manipulation, the silence, the shame. I hit publish at 8:12 a.m. Within 20 minutes, it rippled. LinkedIn, Instagram, DMs. People I hadn't spoken to in years. This is me, thank you, you spoke what we weren't allowed to say. By noon, thousands of shares. But more important, they heard it. I wasn't reacting. I was releasing. Not rage, just evidence. Later, a client wrote, I trust you even more now. A vendor from the cancelled party messaged, if they need backup, I'm here, I saw what they did. My brother texted at 3 p.m., what are you doing? Confused, accusatory, panicked. My mother, this is twisted, you're inflaming everything. Not I'm sorry, not can we talk. Just blame in a prettier font. Then an email from my uncle, this is slander, you've damaged the family, we are considering legal action. That one made me pause, not emotionally, legally. That's when I realized, I'd shifted the power. They weren't scared of lies. They were scared of truth in daylight. They asked me to stop. My lawyer asked them to show receipts. So I did. Timestamps, emails, paper trail. Later, a final message from my mom, you've destroyed everything, think of your father's heart. It wasn't reconciliation. It was image control. I didn't reply. Because the truth wasn't destroying them. It was freeing me. Inside, I heard a sound I hadn't in years, silence, and in that silence, clarity. I haven't blocked them. I haven't answered. I'm not debating the past. I'm done defending my integrity. I opened a new document, titled it, No More. Typed one line, no, I exist, boundaries stay. I expected backlash. Maybe legal noise. Maybe more guilt. What came instead? Silence. Because in public, gaslighting doesn't land. There are no rounds, no rewrites, just evidence. I'm not seeking pity. Not backing down professionally. I'm just holding space. No apology. No retraction. Just peace. They say I destroyed something. Maybe I did. But they never understood. What they built on silence and exploitation was never mine to protect. They took my card. I took my voice. 3 days passed. Then, can we meet? From my mother. Just talk. From my father. I said yes. Not out of hope. Out of curiosity. They chose a quiet coffee shop. Neutral ground. No cousins, no decoration, no witnesses. They were already seated. My mother stood, reached for a hug. I nodded. Saturday. My father started with what he thought was grace. We miss you. We didn't handle it right. I stayed silent. My mother added, it got out of hand, but you're still family. Still family. The same people who called me unstable. Who let the world think I'd snapped. Who drained my money, then called me cruel for noticing. I said, you didn't hurt me by accident. You hurt me by design, and then got mad when I stopped covering it up. My mother's smile cracked. My father, softer, we didn't realize how much it affected you. I nodded. Exactly, you never asked. They reached for explanations, stress, pressure. We didn't mean it like that. I stopped them. I didn't leave because of one party. I left because I became infrastructure. You don't talk to plumbing. You just expect it to work. And when it leaks, you curse it, not check if it's tired. My mother's eyes welled. I didn't flinch. I'm not angry anymore. I'm not bitter. I'm just done. I stood, paid for my coffee, only mine. At the door, I turned back once. You didn't lose your son. You lost access to him. Then I walked out. They didn't follow. And that silence, finally, was mine.